Hey everybody, this is Hans Murphy from Modesto, California, and I'm here to talk about WrestlePalooza 2025. But before we get on to that, we must talk about the sponsorship announcement. Hey, this is Les. I'm here to do the sponsorship announcement, and I also have to do the Murph Perps later, so yeah, you'll see me again, but I'm mostly here to do this. So yeah, all Murphiverse programming is brought to you by Home for the LD Lee. They sell Laserdiscs, HD DVDs, and CDs. And if you put in the code MURPH, you get 20% off of your order. So go do that now, or after the video preferably. And yeah, Home for the LD Lee, the kings of Laserdiscs. Now, WrestlePalooza has its history in ECW. It was one of their regular pay-per-views. And with the WWE moving to ESPN in America for their pay-per-views, they decided that they would bring it back. I don't know why they chose that name, though, because it's not a great name, and it doesn't really link to ECW in any way. This wasn't all a hardcore show, so the way they spoke about it in the lead-up to it, you kind of thought that maybe this is going to be like another WrestleMania. But it really wasn't. A lot of people are comparing it to the debut episode of Raw on Netflix. And yeah, I can kind of see that. Both started with a ridiculously long promo from Triple H. Well, it was a video package. And, you know, I guess if you've not watched wrestling since 1985, then it might have been useful to you. But if you've watched it in that time, then yeah, it pretty much didn't tell you anything that you didn't already know. The show started off with Brock Lesnar taking on John Cena, and apparently this match went on first because Brock wanted to go home early. So they only put in an 8-minute match, went on first, and it was exactly kind of what I was dreading because, look, Brock Lesnar can be a good technical wrestler. He's obviously proven that with his college wrestling before he went to WWE and also in UFC. So the guy's, you know, he's got a talent there. The problem is in WWE, more often than not, he'll just do the same moves over and over again. And that's pretty much what this match was. So yeah, it was just basically Brock and Cena doing moves to each other with no psychology. And yeah, it was pretty awful, honestly. It may have actually been worse than I thought it was going to be. So we have to give it some kind of grading. Obviously, we usually give them the Murph burps, but this didn't earn any Murph burps, and I think giving it no Murph burps is probably actually still too generous. I don't know. I've left that up to Les to actually come up with a way of describing this match as far as ratings go. Yeah, so no Murph burps. Initially, we thought about vomit, but I think that's even too good for it. So we're going to say this match is like stepping in dog shit in bare feet. And I don't mean the feet of a bear, I mean with nothing on your feet. Well, I guess the dog shit is on your feet afterwards, but that's, you know, it gets all between your toes. All that kind of disgusting. Yeah, that's how I felt about this match. And, yeah, what do you think? What do you think about that, Hans? Yeah, I'd say that's fair. So yeah, we're calling that match stepping in dog shit with no shoes on. Or bare feet, but not as in bear as in the animal bear. The next match was a tag match. This was the Usos taking on The Vision. The Usos obviously being Jimmy and Jay Uso. And The Vision is Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They also added LA Knight as the special guest referee. This match did kind of go a bit hardcore. They did use some weapons, and Jay did bleed a little bit. I say a little bit. It was probably actually, he bled a fair amount, but not like ECW levels of blood. There were some impressive moves and moments in this match, but overall, again, no psychology. That just didn't really mean anything. I really don't see why they keep pushing Bronson Reed. His finisher, the tsunami, it just kind of looks like he goes up to the top rope and falls on his opponent. It doesn't really look like there's that much skill that goes into it. Maybe I'm guessing. I mean, he's still technically doing a dive, but it really just does look like he's a fat guy and he falls off the top rope. You know, he did do a moonsault as well during the match, which is far more impressive than the tsunami, which is literally just fall. So, maybe it was a senton or something. You know, the point it was a move that actually took some skill. even then, I just don't really see what the fuss is with this guy. So, yeah. The match was kind of a mess. I don't know if they really knew what they were doing, and I think that after Jay got busted open, he kind of got lost. So, yeah, I didn't really enjoy this match either, but it was better than the first one, so we're going to give this one... Now, the next match was the only women's match. Well, there's a mixed tag match up later, so there are more female wrestlers involved. But this is the only women match, so there's, you know, a match that only involves women. And this is for the women's world title, which was held by Naomi, but she's had to go off because she's pregnant. So, you know, it's really not great for the baby if she keeps wrestling, so she's had to vacate the belt. Now, if she hadn't had to take that time off, she would have been facing Stephanie Vakir at the Clash in Paris, but that didn't happen. And they could really have had this match then, but I guess they held it off to this show. So instead of Stephanie Vakir taking on Naomi, we had Io Sky. And this was a great match, and I think that this is the sort of thing that maybe the WWE creative team or the agents or just the wrestlers in general really need to sort of study this match. I'm not saying it's the greatest match of all time, but at the same time, this is how a wrestling match should work. You've heard me mentioning ring psychology before. I've mentioned it twice already in this video because the first two matches had none. This one did it. This one actually felt like a wrestling match. Now, what I mean by ring psychology is basically, I think Jim Cornette would say, you know, you wouldn't follow a shooting with a stabbing because, you know, you already shot someone, so why would you then stab them? It doesn't make any sense. And in a lot of cases in wrestling these days, they kind of do that. So they'll do a really big move, and that does nothing, so then they'll take them out with a much lesser move. This one, everything just sort of built. And initially, it just kind of a friendly competition between because they're both faces, or good guys, for those who don't know what that means. And yeah, so it was just kind of a friendly match at first, and then they just sort of, it built as they went along. And you could see them getting more and more desperate towards the end of the match. And yeah, to me, this felt like a classic wrestling match. Both Io and Stephanie are incredibly talented wrestlers, probably two of the best wrestlers, male or female, on the WWE roster at the moment. I think both have a very bright future. Now, Stephanie's usual finisher didn't finish the match, the SVB, Stephanie Vakir Bomb. So instead she went for this, I don't know, I guess I'd kind of say it's kind of like the Phoenix Splash, but not. It certainly reminded me of something that Hayabusa would have done in FMW. And that was just so you could see that she's bringing something out of her arsenal that she wouldn't normally use. And yeah, she won the match, which is great. Extra special because her father was in the audience, and it was actually her father's birthday. And apparently this was the first time he'd ever seen one of her matches, although he's supported her career. I guess he's got a job or whatever and couldn't make it, so he actually was there. So that was a real sweet moment for her and for her dad. But yeah, WWE, if we can have more matches like this, please, and less like the other crap. Because yeah, this is what a wrestling match is. Not just a series of moves. So, oh yeah, we got to do the Murph burps. So, Les, you want to come up? Yeah. So, yeah, 4 Murph burps. I really enjoyed this match, and I'm super happy for Stephanie to win this match because I think that, yeah, she really deserves it. And Io also did a great job too. So, even though she didn't win the title, she certainly proved that she's one of the best in the business. We next had the mixed tag match, which was Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus CM Punk and AJ Lee. This was AJ's first match in 10 years. I wasn't sure how to feel about this match because when WWE do mixed tag matches, they do that whole thing where the guy has to tag out when the girl tags in on the other team. So it's kind of pointless to have a match where you've got the potential of intergender combat. And yeah, they did kind of break that rule a little bit here, but it was still, yeah, I think that they would have been better off having 2 separate matches personally. The first probably 10 minutes of the match, maybe 5-10 minutes, I'm not sure, I wasn't counting. That just was mostly character work and sort of yeah, I really didn't care for this match. And honestly, I love CM Punk. And I think that this is really a disappointing match from him. It's probably the worst match of his I've ever seen, actually. And, you know, I feel bad for all of them because that everybody in this match is capable of far better than this. But I guess it told the story they wanted to tell, so, yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it other than I'm incredibly disappointed about it. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this one other than being incredibly disappointed by it. But I guess it did what the so-called creative team wanted, so, it had some cool moments in it, but it was far too long. I think it was about half an hour. And, yeah, very underwhelming. And the final match of the night was Drew McIntyre challenging Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. This I thought had a lot of potential. They're obviously both very talented wrestlers in their own right. Cody's probably one of the top faces in the company, and Drew is one of the top heels, so this, on paper, should have been great. It wasn't. They seem to be putting on this thing of Cody having some kind of concussion issue, and so he started acting kind of weird and just sort of flopping over in the ring. I don't know if he actually has a concussion. If he does, he shouldn't be wrestling. If he doesn't, then I don't know. He's had acting lessons, and you'd think he'd do it better. But so yeah, maybe that's just how he acts when he's concussed. I don't know. He did still win the match. It had some okay moments, which is kind of the pattern of this show. But yeah, another underwhelming match. Yeah, I don't really need to say much else about it. Just another match that was, yeah. So, yeah, that was WrestlePalooza. There was only 5 matches in 3 hours and 15 minutes. There was originally going to be a 6th match, but Triple H decided that that's too many matches for a pay-per-view. When you consider that, you know, people in the U.S. who were getting this on the new ESPN thing had to pay $30 to see it. You know, it's hardly value for money when you only really got one really good match, and the rest were mediocre at best, and then the worst matches were diabolically shit. So, yeah, I mean, if every match was as good as Stephanie Bakir versus Io Sky, or even half as good, it would have been an okay show, but this was just not good. You know, you can't just have one really good match and the rest of the show be not good. And, you know, you can't really get away with doing a 3-hour show. Well, they did, and they'll probably continue to do so. But they shouldn't get away with doing these 3-hour shows with only 5 matches. It's ridiculous. There was too much talking, too much filler, and too much advertising. And I don't really know what to rate the show overall, because that one match was really good, but then I can't rate the show higher because the rest of it was so bad. You know, I'd feel bad rating the show so badly because of all the other matches, but that one match, it really just doesn't belong, you know? It's that one match that's actually good. I suppose we'll just split the difference and we'll give it a... Yeah, I think 2 Murph burps is probably fair for the show. If you haven't seen it yet, I would watch the Vakir versus Sky match, and if you're a big Cody Rhodes fan or a big Drew McIntyre fan, maybe watch their match. Other than that, I wouldn't recommend this show. If you're a big AJ Lee fan, I'd say that it's probably worth checking out that match just because it's her first match in 10 years. But it's not really anything to write home about, you know? Anyway, that was the show. Don't forget to check out our website, which will be written here somewhere. Don't forget home for the LD Lee. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all of that. You know, if you agree with my opinions or if you disagree or if you have no opinion whatsoever. What was it? Murphy used to give you a topic, so maybe I'll come up with something. Which wrestler do you think would be the smelliest? Yeah, we'll go with that. So, yeah, until next time, I'm Hans Murphy, and for my brother Les, who was doing the Murph Burps and the sponsorship announcement, see ya!